Welcome back, everyone, to another session of Crituitous RP. Now, before we begin, some quick announcements and reminders. If you like our show, then you will be happy to know that there will be a second stream campaign starting soon. This will be a homebrew adventure run by me, and some of the players will be repeated. Some new players will be coming in for it. But for more details about that, as information becomes available, follow us on Twitter at Crituitous RP. Also, don't forget that you can catch up on our previous Campfire RP chat on our blog at crituitousrp.tumblr.com. That link will be in the chat. And if you want to see the RP as it happens, become a patron. Starting this month, we will be starting a homebrew adventure for patrons to play only. So if you'd like to play some D&D and support the stream, then head over to our Patreon and sign up to be a folk hero. We hold regular campaign games and games nights where some players of here and patrons gather together and we play all kinds of board and card games together. So head over to patreon.com/Teovanth for more details about that. Now, I would like to welcome our new followers. Thank you, everyone that's been sticking with us each week. And we would like to put special mention to, and I apologize if I pronounce these wrong, I Love Pez, Shovleman Gaming, Jordan with a PH, and Zinyalothotep. I'm very sorry for pronouncing that incorrectly if I did, but thank you everyone for joining us on this and becoming part of our little family here. I would personally like to give a little bit of a shout out to another streamer, a YouTube streamer, not sponsored, please, not sponsored at all. That is Jordan with a PH, or Jordan. He does very good lore videos. So if you ever have a question about where did Teo get the information about this particular history or race or something, then those videos that Jordan creates are very good, quick glances into the history of the Forgotten Realms. Now, stick around for the break today as we will be holding another Who's That Monster. And remember to always check out our previous sessions as they tend to have a clue or a monster appearing, which will appear as the Who's That Monster. So, without further ado, previously on Crituitous RP, our heroes, deciding to take a little bit of a break on the march towards Mesro, thought it might be a good idea while they're still close-ish to Fort Belawarian that they should explore the area a little bit more and perhaps look for some ghouls. As luck would have it, a stroke of opportunity, a storm came in that forced them to find some shelter. That shelter led them to a section of the mining shafts that Fort Belawarian use regularly. Now, Shargo didn't really want everyone exploring these mining shafts as he's not strictly supposed to be down there. But everyone went anyway. They convinced him that it was a good idea that if there is some dangerous creatures in there, that it would help his position with the Fort Belawarian troops if he was part of the group that helped save the day. So our adventurers charged down and started to explore some of the mining tunnels deep within the mines in the mountain here. Shortly afterwards, they managed to come across, and as luck would have it, stumble across a little pack of ghouls, which is perfect, because they were hunting ghouls. They were hunting ghoul heads, specifically. So they saw a couple ghouls, and then a couple more, and then one big one. As the big one came into view, so too did a mist of mad monkey fever. We rejoined the party shortly after them getting infected, some of the members getting infected, and the mad monkey fever beginning to show signs of that madness. So, hands up if you got affected. We have Greco, we have Zola, and if I remember correctly, Aloando as well.
And Shago?
And Shago.
Now, what was Shago's?
I think he was revulsion towards the source of it, right?
Yes. So, hours after the party had fought with these ghouls and managed to get to safety away from this strange fog and mist, our heroes resting for a time, Shago keeping to himself, thinking about the situation. He's being very silent, very sullen, trying to keep himself as far away from that tunnel that they had gone down as possible. Zola, what are you doing? How are you feeling?
Weird. Feeling weird. Whenever I think about what I'm doing, my brain gets all fuzzy, and it's easier to stop thinking about it at that point. But what's been happening is she'd taken out her crossbow to start examining it, thinking about the prior combat, and she dry fired it, and then she just kept dry firing it over and over and over, both hands occupied. People have begun to pick up on it a little bit, but there's not a whole lot she can do about it. So now she's experimenting with it, and she's put the crossbow down by some miraculous stroke of will, and she's picked up the compy, and she's dry firing the compy.
This is still a family show, right?
Yes. Specifically for this particular moment, and this is one of the wonderful things that happens in our Campfire RP. I will not read everything, but I will highlight this particular point. Aloando's line of sight also cast her attention to the Compsognathus, coiled up on the other side of the fire. Zola made clicking sounds with her tongue in an attempt to get her to open her eyes and look back. Eventually, the little one did. She tilted her head in curiosity, bounced up, and skittered over to the Yuan-Ti. Over the course of several uncomfortable seconds, she wrestled with putting the crossbow down and picking the dino up. Almost as soon as she had her in her arms, her hands set work again, as though she was still holding the contraption. Instead of drawing the string, her bent finger gently drew a line down the compy's back, not so far from looking like an act of petting. When she would be pulling it on a trigger, she instead moved one of its tiny arms back and released it. Instead of the maddening noise the crossbow made, the little saurian made a much quieter Zola sound. So, as Zola begins experimenting with ways in which she can satisfy her compulsion without ruining things, what's going on? At the same time, at approximately the same time, Greco, how are you feeling?
Well, Greco, initially as the madness started to take over him, was feeling a little, almost like a high before the low. He was feeling a bit of a bloodthirst for more ghouls, a little more jovial, jokey than he was. But when the reality of everything going on hit him, or at least his perceived reality of everything going on, specifically that he tried to run away from the mist, which meant running away from the undead, and could have endangered his companions by his cowardice. He is now taking to shouldering pretty much all of the blame internally and feeling personally responsible for fixing everything. So he's just in a prayer loop with himself. The more the twangs happened, the more he retreats into his shell to just basically pray nonstop so that he can have the blessings from Kalimvor come the morning to rid the madness from the others. And I would assume he doesn't really think himself mad. He is just, he's been in situations enough where there's been bad things around him that he hasn't fixed, where he just thinks this is another thing on top of everything else. And he is just kind of racked with guilt about everything and is not the nicest person right now because of that.
So as of right now, Greco isn't so much outwardly, visibly infected. He's more keeping to himself, muttering into prayer. Maybe a little bit more intense with his prayer than usual, but
and more irritable with everything going on around him.
But not too obvious that his behavior has changed so much. And Averine, would you care to explain to us what's going on with Aloando?
Well, Aloando's madness effect was the inability to speak, and Aloando did not have the ability to speak, so the effects, although he is suffering from them, they don't manifest in any meaningful way, or observable way anyway.
Well, so as this is expanding, as these things are building up and growing, what are you guys doing in your little cave that you have?
I was promised food by Carmen. I'm still wondering where that is.
No, that's fine. To be honest, Carmen was just trying anything to get you to put the crossbow down. So I will be taking some rations just out of one of the packs, and just seeing who else would like to have something to eat. So guys, we haven't eaten yet. Maybe we should just sit down, have a chat, have something to eat. Zola, do you want to pop your little compy down and have some food? You want to take it? One hand? Okay.
Help!
We must feed her for now.
Really?
Just for a while. He quietly towers for this time. He has the ability to heal 2 people, but not knowing if everybody and all are infected, he's waiting for the amount of allotted time to see who may have come down with such a disease before he decides on who, including himself, decide who's he's going to pass healing onto.
So I'm going to need Tower to roll an insight check.
First roll.
See if he knows his party members well enough to know if they are affected. Oh.
We did roll a previous one for Zola.
When did we roll that
one? We rolled that one in the week.
That's when you specifically started to catch up on
Yeah. But everybody else, I'm a bit with.
Yeah, you definitely don't see anything wrong with Greco's behavior. But he's only been in the group for about a week, so.
Just a weird turtle man, it's fine.
No, I'm just assuming he's praying because he's trying to accumulate more powers for healing, like he's insinuating.
So
Is Greco just hiding in his shell?
Yes, yeah. And I figure once it gets time for actual night rounds, he's going to just also stay up with whoever's guarding and pray and have his sword drawn. So if any ghouls show up, he will be there, and he's just not going to sleep because he's going to be ever vigilant and praying and waiting and watching. But for now, he's just in his shell.
Can I ask, is he louder in his shell? Does it echo?
I would imagine, because of the actual physiology of turtles, it's not just a shell that they're actually going into, like you would imagine from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're actually dipping down into folds of skin that it's going to be muffled. Yeah, just like that. And you have to spend the rest of the session huddled up. Okay?
So Averine didn't recognize the blue mist, but then Carmen declared that it was a mist that causes mad monkey fever. Does now knowing the name tell Averine anything she didn't know before?
Would Volo have written about it in the book?
His book is all about monsters, and unfortunately, the mad monkey fever isn't quite.
Well, is there a mad monkey in the book? Maybe the mad monkey bites you and gives you mad monkey fever.
So, Averine, go ahead and roll a history check. But since you had already failed your previous one, this will be a disadvantage, even though you do have the name. Not really, no, I'm afraid. This is something that is not too common from your knowledge. You are a particular kind of sect of Chult that you followed. Anything else you guys would be doing in this cave of yours?
Just going to keep beating Zola. I feel sorry for Zola a little bit now. As much as it will start off as annoyance, I am starting to feel sorry for her because I can see that she's really not being herself. And after Carmen came out, had that frantic clean up, she's kind of feeling a bit relieved, but feeling sorry for Zola.
I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Great.
Great.
This is nothing.
Okay.
This is a garden walk. I told you.
Of course. How's Shargo?
I don't know.
He's keeping to himself, and he doesn't respond unless you specifically go to him.
I'll go to him if he's not responding.
As you shift, the compy tries desperately to get out of your hands.
I'll let it, and then I'll have to pick up the crossbow again.
Or something else. But,
Crossbow's right there. So.
Twang. You'll head over to Shargo, who is similarly just sat there, talking to himself. You've seen him like this before when he was much younger. Usually when horrible stories that kept him up all night, that kind of thing. As a child, having nightmares, he would talk to himself. Hey, howdy, Ridvan. Welcome back. Shargo, when he was a child and had nightmares, he would begin to, very low under his breath, repeat through step by step every moment of the nightmare and try to change it as he repeated through it. Each time he would get to a point where he would try to, okay, I need to change that. I need to do this. And he starts trying to fix his nightmare, which never really worked as a child. And you've seen him revert back to that for a moment as he starts muttering about, maybe this time I shouldn't have been in the creatures didn't. The shield could have protected me maybe if I had kept the.
Twang.
Oh, hello, Zola. How are you?
I'm dandy. But you seem shaken.
I am okay. Just a little surprised.
What did that?
Oh, it's just had a bit too much excitement today. The whole being in the mines when I shouldn't be in the mines and seeing you get hurt and seeing everyone fighting those monsters, it was quite a day.
I don't know if I really believe that.
He will try to be deceptive. And he will fail to be deceptive. Yeah, he's terrified.
If something's wrong, I might be able to help. Twang.
I don't know what it is, Zola. It's. I feel wrong. I don't understand it.
Okay. Hold on. Just a moment. And I'm going to walk over to Tower. Tower, I believe Shargo is probably infected and is now showing signs.
That is good to know. How long have we been in here now?
This is about 5 hours after the battle.
The 5 hours?
Yeah, about 5 hours after the battle. So everyone who has been infected will have been showing their signs, which, as we discussed by now, but some of those are more obvious than others.
Don't worry, Shago. We'll fix it.
It is not something that can fix. Usually, I don't think I did anything wrong down there, but for some reason, it doesn't feel right at all.
I think that's the infection. That's the mist. Because I'm feeling the same way, exact same way. That something is very wrong. Twang.
What is wrong with you?
I was gonna get up. I think it is about time. I personally do not feel any signs of madness, and I am not showing symptoms that I am aware.
How's Greco doing?
He seems to be praying. This is not unusual to me.
Maybe we can ask him if he feels wrong, because that seems to be, we seem to be able to communicate that.
Perhaps, and I will go over and knock on the shell.
Which is a deafening.
Yes. What do you want?
You're gonna peer in the head.
he's come out of the shell. At least his head is poked out of the shell. His arms are still in, but.
How do you feel okay, my friend?
I would feel more okay if the twanging would stop and if the bothers would stop.
You seem to be in prayer. Is this necessary for you to be able to heal?
Prayer is necessary for my blessings to be bestowed upon me. The fight with the ghouls didn't go as well as I would have hoped, so I would like to pray more. Pray through the night if I need to. Be alert to make sure that we're not blindsided like we were last night.
The battle went fine, my friend. We are all here, and you are alive.
Yes, but without our mental faculties, are we no different than the ghouls?
This is a philosophy question that I cannot answer right now. And I think we all lack enough sleep not to want to get into that. Do you need, perhaps a good night's rest will help you, maybe not prayer.
I can rest when I know that everyone is safe and everyone is healed. Until then, I'll stay up and I will pray and I will guard.
Okay. Insight check.
Would that be
Insight
opposed
check.
by or anything? Would it just be maybe like a will save? Or
yeah, you are unconsciously trying to hide this symptom and this effect. So I'm going to have you roll any charisma-based skill, whichever one is your best, but at disadvantage.
Like none of them are my best, is the answer to that. Well, I guess since he thinks he's being truthful, I'll do a persuasion. They're all the same, no matter which one I pick. So at disadvantage, right?
At disadvantage because it's not actually you that's.
Oh, I just saw the roll.
So as a result, Tower, yeah, there is something definitely wrong with him. You've been around clerics before. Prayers take maybe an hour. He's been at it for 3.
It's a very detailed prayer.
Okay.
The Aquan language is very long. It's not like it's it's drawn out.
Let us not forget the story of the turtle and the hare.
Slow and steady prayers. Bless the mace.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm going to approach Carmen because we previously made a deal. I need to I need to make a decision, Carmen. Are you feeling okay yourself?
Yeah, I feel fine.
It appears nobody else is aware, or some are aware of their disabilities, and I need to know if you have seen anything in me that you may consider strange.
Nah, you seem fine. You seem normal, Tower. You're all right. I got your back.
This is good to know.
How many people do you think are poorly?
Well, Zola is the obvious one.
Oh yeah.
And she has expressed that Sherlock seems to be showing signs as well.
Okay, the one rocking in the corner. Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
Greco, I am pretty sure he is showing signs of excessive prayer.
Never trust a man that's too holy.
What is he hiding?
Okay. How many people can you heal?
I can only heal 2 this night.
2 this night. How long rest will you need?
I will need another 8 hours.
Okay. Well, can we sleep with Zola carrying on like that? Is the only thing that's going through my mind right now.
No, I do not think so either.
Okay. We got to stop that twanging.
And I believe Greco may come to blows if he keeps on getting interrupted. He was very, very grumpy.
Okay. Grumpy Turtle. Noisy Zola. If we're not going anywhere until the morning, then can Shargo?
Shargo seems the least annoying and
I can't finish the news to heal by who's annoying. Okay.
and the least compromised at this point.
It's your decision. It's your decision completely.
I
Do you want to ask anybody else? I know I'm your friend, but do you want to just check with?
I have not.
I mean, we haven't spoken to Averine yet. She might.
Can you speak to the fiery one? She scares me.
Yeah, okay. I can speak to the fiery one. Okay. I'm gonna shake my head, turn around, and walk over to Averine. Hey, how are you? You alright?
Aye, I'm grand.
Yeah, you're not feeling strange or anything like that.
I'm ready to head back out.
Oh, okay, all right. You're definitely all right then. And Litland's all right?
As far as I know.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Who do you think's struggling a bit? Because we've got an idea, but I just wondered what your thoughts were and what we should do.
It's clear something's come over Zola, but as far as the others, I cannot tell that anything is off about them.
Okay. When do you think we should head off?
I'm ready. Like I said, as soon as we're all set. But if we're not at full strength, perhaps it would be wise to give it a rest for the day.
Okay. I'm gonna look around to see where Grigori is. I think he's kind of just sulking against the cave wall or something, isn't he? Or
Which is normal.
Normal, but he's a little further away and said he would be keeping guard. Though that was probably an hour ago?
okay.
Maybe a little longer? It's been a while.
All right. I'm gonna shuffle over to Tower and go. Yeah, she's fine. She's all good. She's normal. Normal Averine. So we got the 3. Do we want to just check that Grigori's all right?
No, I do not care about him.
I know you don't care about him, but you know, equally we don't know what he's going to do if he is not feeling too good. So
All right, I will go find it.
yeah, it's your turn. Go on, off you pop.
I wander into the back of the cave.
Grigori's leaning against the wall, and he's just kind of absentmindedly flicking his fingers, and sparks are just flying off his fingers every time he flicks them.
Is that normal behavior?
You've made a point to stay away from him, so you have no idea what's normal.
I'm going to turn back around.
Whether or not Grigori heard him coming, doesn't react, just keeps leaning and looking down away from everybody, so...
Walk back to Carmen. He is making flicking and fire. That doesn't look good.
Okay. That could just be him. Let me go and check. I'll go and check. I won't disturb him. I'll just go and check. So I'm just going to just creep up.
He seems to be leaning against the wall, looking vigilantly out and kind of absent-mindedly flicking his fingers and little sparks. You have prestidigitation, right, Carmen?
I do.
Yes, he recognized it. It's just
Yeah.
little magic
Okay.
coming off his hands each time.
So with it, I'm going to go Grigori and cast Thunder and Lightning. Super quick. Just to see if it plays with its head.
Oh, so you say the name and then the thunder.
Yeah.
Grigori turns at you and gives a sly smile. Like that was very clever. That was very funny. Yes.
You alright? How you feeling?
Somewhat bored, but thankfully no ghouls or other problems have followed us thus far. How are you? How is everyone else?
Yeah, we're all fine. We're just watching Zola continuously play up her crossbow. That's really it.
Is anyone else affected, or does it seem to be only Zola?
Potentially Greco and potentially Shargo. But they're not causing much of a issue for us. They're being quite quiet or praying.
But potentially any of us, I suppose. I've been worried the last several hours, if my thoughts are my own. Though I don't know if you're the only one if I'm the only one who's so introspective. Could affect any of us without our knowing. So you said, since you're the only one familiar with this.
True, but it's been a good few hours now, and I think if you were gonna have problems, you'd be having real problems by now. If you feel fine and you don't feel like, foggy, then maybe don't be such a hypochondriac and, you'll be fine.
Well, such a relief to be given a clean bill of health from a knowledgeable practitioner. Thank you, Carmen.
You're welcome, and I do Thunder and Lightning again.
And then as she does that, Grigori does it as well, but in like a different pitch, so it harmonizes. So it's like a scale.
I'm not sure what that's going to sound like. Perhaps you can help me to know what that sounds like.
Well, I got to hear what the first one sounds like.
So the first one's going to be like, what, like, dum.
It was like, dum.
All right.
The harmony of thunder. Okay. All right.
Although perhaps that was very fun, but considering we're in an enclosed cave system where there are likely enemies nearby, perhaps we should keep incredibly loud noises to a minimum.
All right. Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to go in. I think we should go and have a chat with Zola then. So do you want to stay here or do you want to head back with me?
Oh, someone ought to keep guard. I have no ability to help or hinder.
You have no ability to help.
I don't have any. All I could do to help would be to recommend that she sleep.
Okay.
So, but you can do that, physician, much better than I. So.
That is true. I take that on board. All right. I'll leave you in peace.
If I can be of help, or if monstrosities come down the tunnel to threaten us, I will let you know.
Okay. All right. No worries.
Thank you. Thank you, darling.
Zola, roll me a D100.
Who?
Zola.
Ooh.
Okay. You're good.
38 ghouls come leading out of the cave.
It is time to fight.
No. Keep going. Twang.
He's Grigori. Yeah, he's fine. He seems absolutely fine. I don't think we've got any problems there. But as he is, he's staying out of the way because he's not interested in getting in the way, to be fair to him. So he's not a problem.
Then I have made my decision, and he'll walk over to Zola. And what's Zola doing right now? She's sitting again.
She's laying by the fire.
He's gonna look at. He's gonna have a quick look at your hands, because like all of this loading and shooting and loading and shooting, I'm wondering if you're starting to blister and bloody.
Shouldn't be after just this long. Plus scales.
Yeah, are scale hands more durable than normal pink fingers?
Not mechanically, but I'm not
Concept.
sure. Yeah, I might be bleeding a little bit. But you can't tell because my scales are already red. You just can't tell.
Sweat.
I'm gonna look at her and just go, trust me, and just touch the top side of her head, and then I'll cast.
I'm gonna flinch a little bit first before he actually makes contact and ask, "What about Shago?"
I like you more, and then I'm gonna put my.
That's not enough of an answer.
I'm going to need a athletics check from Tower and a acrobatics check from Zola.
Oh, second natural one.
She is gone like a shot. As
Don't
you're
force me.
trying to cast the. How cruel
about-
am I going to be?
What about Shago?
Don't be too cruel.
Did he spend a spell slot?
Have I spent it?
I think he's expended the spell.
Oh!
Maybe it's
I
better to
tried
use
to
the
warn
second
ya.
one on the stationary turtle in his shell, who can then do it tomorrow too.
Why would you do this? I was trying to help you.
I kept asking you a question, and instead of answering me, you were about to force me. Twang.
I need you to stop because I cannot sleep with that twanging.
So then you should have said so. What
No.
happened? Did you lose it?
Yes, I have exalted my power.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't have tried to escape if I had known that there was no tape axes. I know how that. I'm so sorry.
Now I must choose between you and the turtle.
Look, if I'm getting annoying, I can go outside the cave.
No, no one should be out here alone. If you are making noise, you will cause it. Please let me heal. Greco I can heal both of you if I get some rest, but I cannot get rest if you are creating that noise. And you should not be alone if you cannot help yourself. And you're already bleeding. This is hurting you. It is not hurting anyone else.
You don't need to convince me. I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry that you lost your some of your power by doing that. But do you understand why I freaked out on you like that?
I know, but I had already chosen. I wanted you and I wanted Greco healed.
Well, it's also
you were
my
the
choice.
most necessary to me.
But you're not going to force yourself on me anymore, right?
I was never trying to force myself on you. I was just trying to relieve your pain.
So what do we do now?
Greco, he seems to be okay in his own shell, and praying excessively has never been a bad thing that I am aware of.
And Shadow?
And you said it yourself, he just seems to be down.
And he seems terrified, actually. I haven't seen him like this since he used to have night terrors as a kid. Whatever is in him has really shaken him. I don't think he'd be very capable in combat.
Or maybe Common can put him to sleep, and he will get some rest tonight.
Okay.
I can do that. I've been listening.
Carmen, can you affect him with sleep?
I can cast sleep. It only lasts 1 minute.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. A minute sleep's not really going to do much, is it?
And what's the maximum amount of sleep you could actually do?
Well, the maximum hit points is 5d8, isn't it? So
40.
Yeah, 5d8.
Even at the best, you wouldn't touch Shargo.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that's not an option then. Silence, on the other hand.
That only lasts 10 minutes.
I thought it lasted an hour. Oh, I only lasted 10 minutes. Okay, fine. I was thinking of silence in Zola.
How long does blindness and deafness last?
Blindness and deafness.
So just make all of us deaf.
Make me deaf. Prolonged deafness and I get some sleep.
Only lasts like 10 minutes though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. Okay.
Alternatively, you could all just sleep in different caves. I mean, that's always a possibility. Split the party while you sleep.
Split it 8.
The DM is suggesting we split the party. What kind of madness is this?
Never trust
The
that.
DM might have gotten infected.
Yeah, right.
I am never. It must be you. I will never get rest if you cannot help yourself, and you are hurting yourself. I am sure Shargo, he will recover from a night like this. But
I'll do whatever you say at this point. I'm so sorry for wasting your energy like that. But we were clear now, right?
because I apologize.
Me too.
I am just trying to help you.
And I just care about my brother.
He's gonna hold his hands up.
She gets one more twang in before that.
Okay, I'm gonna cast.
As you're going to cast, she reaches out, pulls. You hear the start of the twang, and then a crack as the crossbow explodes in her hands. I need Zola to roll a dexterity saving throw. As
Well, now she
she's
doesn't
about
have
to
it,
take
so.
damage.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you manage to dodge, and at least your hands aren't ruined and broken, but the string pulls in taut, cuts your finger a little bit as it flies across the room. Shocks people a little bit. Shargo freaks out. Are you okay?
Oh, fine. Paper cut. Wood cut.
Now you can
Good.
cast
I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna cast this time.
So, Zola, as a wave of arcane energy just passes through you, feel a modicum of peace just spread through your very core. Your arms feel so tired, and your fingers really hurt.
Well, I thank you. Thank you very much.
I
Sorry for the annoyances.
am sorry, but I have not prepared any of my healing spells today.
You've done great, Tower. You've exceeded expectations. I don't think anyone can ask anything more of you than what you're putting out right now. You're doing great. I'm gonna go watch the others.
Was that my bow that I bought you?
Yeah. It's funny, right? Ha.
I hope it was worth it.
Well, don't worry. We'll be swimming in gold soon.
I seem ironically that I bought you your torment and now I've had to repair it.
Well, you know what's vastly more important to me than this crossbow ever will be? And she'll pull out the little wooden ship that he gave her. And it's like, this is intact and this will remain intact.
He'll smile.
Oh.
You realize Teo now has to find a way to destroy that.
I've messed with pieces of wood like that before. Make it a whole story arc. That thing's gonna come alive.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna go stand next to Shago and wrap him up into a tight hug and make him feel safe.
Unfortunately, his mutterings will take a while to calm him down. He will eventually fall asleep, which is good. It'll give you a moment of respite where you can fall asleep. But then in the middle of the night, he'll wake up with a shudder, screaming and shouting about the ghouls and their attack.
No,
He stands
grab
up
him.
at the ready, like reaching for his weapon with a
Just gonna grab him, wrap my arms around his neck, and pull him in and cling on tight. You're awake. You're awake.
Just make it stop, Zola.
Very soon. You only have to put up with this for maybe a day longer. And I'll make sure nothing happens to you. I'm right here.
Then, as the night goes on, you guys will periodically take your watches as you would. Nothing happens throughout the night, except Shago waking up a couple times to find that, with his nightmares. Unfortunately, Greco, you're talking in your prayer, though you got very quiet and subtle and people didn't notice you, they fell asleep. You couldn't sleep.
Right.
Needed to finish your prayers. As a result, you will wake up in the morning still affected with one level of exhaustion.
Yeah. And I'm assuming I don't get like I don't get to prepare new spells or anything like that. I don't get any slots restored.
You don't gain any benefits of a long rest.
Is there a place on the sheet to track exhaustion?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool. Just so I know. I'll make note of that myself.
Yeah. Same thing with Shago. Shago is going to wake up exhausted once. Just one level. Right. As you guys wake up, the sun has started to shine over the horizon, out to the entrance of the cave. The clouds are still thick. You can see that the rain is going to continue throughout the day. It's not so heavy that you can't go out and explore. This is actually quite calm, and Shago is more than determined to get out of this cave. So he's eager to push you all out, even into the rain. What do you guys want to do as you wake up?
Yeah, this is normal weather.
Greco's going to try to get his prayers situated, not realizing that it's not going to work. I think he's going to go about his routine as though nothing was different, keeping on praying and probably getting very irritated at the fact that he's not feeling any blessings from Kalimvor, sinking him deeper and deeper in his head.
Tao will wait. As soon as he does, he's going to go into his meditation and commune, draw his power. And once he's done that, he will approach Shago and then Greco following me and cast Lesser Restoration again on both.
Both second level slots on Greco and Shago. Okay. As Shago calms down, everything is restored to him. I need Averine to roll a Constitution saving throw for Aloando. Okay. As the night has worn on, as time has passed, Aloando is no longer affected by the mad monkey fever. He is good. All right. Everyone feels much better. Greco and Shago still have a level of exhaustion, but at least they're not crazy. To a degree.
All right. Should we head further into the mines then? Back to Fort Bellawari and to turn in these ghoul heads.
Do we have a countermeasure against all of that happening again?
Who can predict such things? Who's to say we won't run into it outside of the cave?
Just stay out of the mist, is what I say.
Does the mist, do you have to inhale it, or does just being in the mist, Carmen, cause that?
Can I roll a history check?
What you knew previously was that breathing in the mist is what caused it. So if you guys can avoid breathing, good to go.
So just hold your breath.
1 hour at a time.
I actually have a bandana, and I'm gonna pull it up and tie it around my face.
Is our plan to go through and collect more heads, and then perhaps we can fetch a boat and to go down the coast from the east if this lady is more favorable with us now. We have brought her her prize.
Well, if we run into more ghouls, then obviously this is a boon to us. But I don't think we have to actively hunt further for more of them. So long as we head back to the fort with what we've collected so far and turn that in, then we can head back out by whatever means we decide is best at that time.
That sounds eminently reasonable.
I have no facility to heal again this day if we do become infected, but I am ready to. Other than this, I am strong and we can proceed.
Shargo will begin guiding you through the mining tunnels. Is anyone going to help him?
Yeah.
Shago's human, right? So he doesn't have dark vision.
No, he doesn't have that. So he will light a torch for himself. But if someone helps him, it can cancel out the disadvantage of being exhausted.
I'd probably be sticking really close to him since last night.
Yeah, and I'll be helping him too.
Right. So he begins winding, taking you through the mining tunnels as quietly and as calmly as possible, making a point to keep an eye out for any particular dangers. Are you specifically trying to get out of the mines as quickly as possible, or are you just heading out and possibly exploring on your path? What's the situation here?
I'm under the impression that Shago is uneasy being in the caves simply because it's supposed to be a proprietary source of silver. So I for one, am not encouraging just exploration. But
Okay.
if we were to see ghoul tracks, I might pause and say, "Hey, look at them."
Okay.
Yeah, Grigori recommend kind of a leisurely trip out. We're not dead set to get out, but not exactly going through every nook and cranny.
Okay. Then as you guys start to make your way out, you are on the other side of the mines. And because you're traveling through the mining system, obviously there are tunnels that sometimes you have to drop down a shaft and then back up a little bit and then move around. And he's doing his best to keep you moving forward, but it will take plenty of time. About 7 hours into your 8 hours of travel per day, you guys will get to a point where you will hear a moaning sound from just off one of the shafts, just to the right. Your path would normally take you straight. That's the way Shargo wants to guide you. But you hear a...
Hark! I hear a noise.
Do you investigate the noise? I think... How far away does it sound?
Close.
Close? I'm gonna... because I don't think I used any of my radar-y things on the last... I forget what it's called on top of my head. The detect undead. I used one of them when we were around the ghouls. So I have one more use left. So I'm going to use that to see if there's undead within 60 feet that are not covered by total concealment.
And I'm going to roll my portent for the day.
Nice choice. Nice choice. All right.
I like it.
Greco.
Yeah.
You begin to put out your senses. There are 3 undead within 60 feet of you.
Okay. Are they in the direction that the sound is coming from, or are they separate from that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold up my hand, say, hold fast. There are undead creatures around. They are very close.
To which point Shargo jumps in front of you. Ha-ha!
Do you want me to check and see if the mist is following them? Okay. So everybody stay here.
Zola, I think you'll find as you sneak ahead, and he puts a hand on your arm, that you're harder to find than usual. And I will cast invisibility, and you are invisible.
It's so cool.
Be safe.
Zola, it's the first thing you do while you're invisible.
I wave my hands in front of my face.
The good thing, invisibility gives you advantage.
Oh yeah.
Also, +8 stealth anyway. Jeez, that's great.
All right, so you'll begin to move down the corridor near where the senses are kicking off. You do not see the mists at all. How far is your dark vision?
60 feet.
You see that in that moment that you don't see the mist. You also don't see ghouls. You actually see a creature that seems to shimmer in and out of your view momentarily, just shifting across. Your dark vision makes it difficult to be able to make out specific colors, and so it just looks like motion more than anything else. And then it's matched by another that looks the same, and then a group of shadow just seems to coalesce into one form as it's floating around between them. Roll a perception check.
Passive's 15.
Passive's 15. Okay. 15 is good enough to be able to see them. What you see are 2 specters and a wraith down the corridor.
Do I know what those
Moaning
are?
sound coming from the wraith. You've heard fairy tales and stories about specters and wraiths.
All right.
Yeah, it's fairly
So I'm
common.
going to dash back to the group and be like, it's ghosts! Spirits,
Can you
the
be more
shadows are moving.
specific?
The shadows are moving. Oh, and you can't see her either, so she says that in someone's face.
She is a ghost.
Oh, silly Zola.
So what are you guys doing?
Can they hurt us?
Can we hurt them?
We have
Zola, when you
forces, and these are not the bounties we are seeking to just continue on.
What do I know about ghosts and raids and such?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I don't know if I have enough information to go based off of to know what these are specifically, but
History checks.
I'll do religion.
Could I religion?
History.
Okay. Your religion
Ooh.
has taught you many wonderful things about wraiths and specters and all manner of ghostly creatures. They're not easily harmed by normal means. If you're going to fight a specter or a wraith, you must do so with magic. You don't have to, but it's just far easier to do so. These creatures tend to keep themselves closer to sources of already dead creatures. Kind of becoming, once again, like others, becoming more common in areas where more death seems to occur. They like the shadows, they like the darkness. This seems like a kind of perfect place for them. Actually thinking about mistakes that might have happened within the mining system and who the Flaming Fist apparently are. Who knows where the bodies came from?
Do we know if specters are usually good, evil, or all sorts?
Evil. Spectres are usually chaotic evil as well. They love to just be evil, man.
Or do we know if they're intelligent at all? If they're thinking?
You don't know that much. Those roles.
And would I know...
and it tends to be dependent on who was the creature that died to become the Spectre.
Would I know how well my different damaging spells would affect them? Like if there's any resistance to like inflict wounds, like necromancy.
Like we get an idea that they're resistant to like bludgeoning and piercing damage. Would we know enough to know if they're...
I can give Greco one more because of the push past 20. Necromancy does necrotic damage, does nothing to them.
Well, that's good to know because that's pretty much a lot of my stuff. Great. Okay. Cool. So relay that information to everybody. These creatures are not so easily dispatched as the ghouls. Our weapons will do very little to them. If we want any hope for this fight, we need to use magic, which I know my reservoir is somewhat tapped from the lack of sleep last night. Oh. I don't know how the others of you are doing, however. It might
Other
be...
than Shago, I think we're in no short supply of magics of one form or another.
I can do this.
Well, if they don't detect us, there's no reason to be reckless. Let's just keep going.
I agree.
They're evil creatures who attack indiscriminately, leave this land dangerous. It would be wrong to leave such a threat untamed.
Though I am grateful to see you're taking such a moral turn, Grigori. Our survival and ability to tend to more dangerous threats in the future is far greater than taking out 3 evil creatures out of petty spite. We can do much better if we're more prepared and more capable.
We should push on.
Let's get out.
What is Grigori lying about?
Oh, Avery
That's a knowledge you don't know.
I defer to the group then.
Well, it looks like we might not have much of a choice soon. Just looking at the Roll20 screen.
Let's keep walking. That's meta. Just keep walking. For what it's worth, Zola, you're gonna be invisible for an hour. Just a heads up, unless you attack someone or something.
I need everyone to roll a stealth check as you're trying to get past this corridor, as these creatures are only 60 foot away from you.
Now, since I have exhaustion, that's disadvantage on ability checks. That means skills too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yes, skill checks.
Yeah, our ability checks. So, oh Christ, this is not going to go well.
Chago's not very good at stealth. So,
yeah.
Yep. Chago makes quite a bit of noise. So does Greco.
Yeah.
In fact, Shago accidentally knocks into the back of Greco. His shield.
Didn't Shago get a 21?
He has disadvantage because he's exhausted.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
And Shago bumps into me, turn around like, you were trying to be sneaky here. Keep it down and be careful.
I am sorry.
It's okay. I think we're still safe. I don't think they've noticed us.
I don't think so, because you need to roll initiative now. Like everyone to please roll it.
Is this also at disadvantage, or is this normal? Let me look. Oh, I'll look at.
I don't think it's an ability check.
Okay, I'll go with that. I like that much better. Just for my sake. Not that my rolls have been good enough for that to make a difference. But... Hey, not so bad.
Can I get Alando as well?
And by all means, reposition yourselves anywhere within 15. I would say within 15 feet of your current position, as you might have been somewhere else. You might have been moving around.
Would we be aware of the position of these creatures from where we are right now?
You are.
We are. Okay. Oh, that's true. I've pinged them.
Is anyone missing from the turn order?
I guess if Shago bumped into me, I'm probably near Shago. Which is not necessarily where I want to be, but that...
Oh, he can move back a little bit. Your decision on where you were positioned is more important than my decision on my Shago.
Yeah. I'm going to... Yeah, I think this is good.
And as the two of you make quite a bit of noise, they are going to act first. Has a fly speed of 60 foot.
Criminy.
So that's what it does. It flies straight forward 60 foot to Greco.
Very rude and unappreciated.
So, as the Wraith starts just hovering towards you, it raises a huge black shadowy claw as it will strike down to attack you.
I do not approve of this.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That'll be a 16 to hit.
That'll be a miss.
Okay.
Foolish ghoul. Is this the Wraith?
That's the Wraith.
Aha.
Right.
Kellenbor laughs at your attempts to folly me. I don't know.
Sharko will jump around. Actually, no, he doesn't need to jump around. He'll stay next to you. He will attempt, just because it's his natural action to do, he's going to do a shield bash attack. 23 is going to hit. He's going to deal 9 points of bludgeoning damage. Can the Wraith be knocked prone? It cannot be knocked prone, so that doesn't matter. Realizing that, Shargo is just going to poke it twice with the spear. 1 hit, 2 hits. All resistant to, because non-magical damage. So, 23 halved down to 11 points of damage. Okay. Carmen.
I'm going to cast blindness on the Wraith in front of Greco.
Okay. So a Constitution saving throw from the Wraith. He manages to save. No effect.
Alright, I'm going to move back a bit then.
Okay.
And then my bonus action, I'm going to give inspiration to Averine. And I'm going to be like, right, come on, girl, you wanted to go for this walk.
As you step away, Carmen, he will take an attack of opportunity against you.
Okay.
I'm going to use my reaction to block it with my shield. Can I do that before my first turn in the initiative?
You can. You impose disadvantage. You don't block it.
Oh, that will, yeah. I mean, like,
Yes.
narratively to block it, yeah.
Okay. That's an 18 to hit
Oh.
with disadvantage. Does an 18 hit you, Carmen?
Yeah. Can I use luck?
You can use luck to make him roll it, yeah.
I'm going to use luck.
I re-roll it. Actually, no. The way luck works is you now roll a d20.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Rolo.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Rolo. Yes.
And you get to pick if I use my d20 roll or yours.
Oh, mine.
Okay. In which case, does a 16 hit you?
Yes.
Yeah, just.
What?
So as it still hits, it's going to deal 5 points of necrotic damage to you.
Okay.
And I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Which one? That one. Do I have advantage?
Is there anything that could give you advantage?
Because I've got Greco by my side.
I am a very stalwart companion.
I'll use
Okay.
a luck. I'll use a luck again.
All right, then you have to roll again.
Okay.
Roll a d20.
Oh, my lord.
And you choose to either use the 9 or
15.
15 plus 3. Okay, so you use that, you're fine. No ill effect. That was you. You used your bonus action to give inspiration out. Greco, what are you going to do?
All right, I am going to cast Protection from Evil and Good on myself. As my action.
Attacks against
And
you.
yeah. And I will otherwise I'm just gonna hold my ground. I don't want to move because I want to be able to maintain a kind of a forward wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just keep my stance. Is there like I think I can't do like a defensive posturing because I used an action to yeah. So I'll just stay put.
Okay, Zola.
Gonna move 20 feet here, and Shago's just gonna see behind the wraith and its semi-translucence his sister appear and strike.
Oh.
It's advantage.
It's with advantage, so that will hit.
Yay!
9 points of slashing damage, cut in half, plus the sneak attack, so 19 cut down to 9.
I'm gonna hit it again with the dark.
But that's gonna miss.
Okay, and then step back to there.
Okay. Right, Grigori.
I'm going to step over behind Averine. Can I see both of the wraiths from there?
There's only
Both
one
of these,
wraith,
both
but
these purple one. Well, what are the purple ones?
they are
Specters.
specters.
Can I see both the specters from there?
Yeah, you can. What's your dark vision?
That's an excellent point. Dark vision is 60 feet. So it doesn't matter if I have spell sniper. Then I'm just going to cast, actually, Vicious Mockery at the Wraith. I'm going to yell at him in common. I'm going to yell at him. Where is it? I've got a really great line prepared for this.
I can't wait.
Here it is. I'm going to say, "You are as a candle, the better burnt out," and we'll cast Vicious Mockery at him.
Confused. The faith
Well, and part of
doesn't
the reason I do that, I want to see if I can tell if he understood what I said or not. Technically, for Vicious Mockery, you don't have to understand, but I want to know if he understood common.
The creature did understand common, but not what you said. As a result, the whispers had no effect on him.
Sure.
And
And then I'm going to just kind of hang back a little bit, go back there, and I'm done.
Tower.
Question, DM.
Answer. PC.
Mechanically, hold action. If I was to cast a spell to hold it, if I changed and then wild shaped, so I did my hold action to hold the spell and then did my bonus action to wild shape and then wait for the trigger, would that still go off when I'm in wild shape?
Mechanically speaking, when you take the ready action, you cast the spell, but then concentrate on it until the trigger happens and then you let it go. Since normally you can cast spells and keep and maintain concentration, I will say yes, you can do it, though it does depend on the spell. So what are you trying to cast?
I was. My idea is to cast Fairy Fire, but I want to try and catch the other two specters. So I'm basically my trigger is going to be if those two move in closer, then I'll release it. If they move away, then I'll still release it. I just add that on the main specter. But if they're in that area, I want to try and capture them in, and then we'll check. It's vocal.
Yeah, it's only verbal. Okay. Yeah, I don't see a reason why you can't do that.
Okay. So yeah, I'll cast Fairy Fire in. It's 20-foot cube.
Cube.
20-foot cube. So I'll try and capture the Wraith in it as it is, and not my fellows. And if the other two move up into that area, then that's when I'll release it. If they don't seem to move up, I will release it regardless. I just want to see if I can hold it, and see what they do. Then I'll change into a spider.
Able to see right now.
I
guess
thought
Shargo
had some sort of torch up.
There we go. Aluando.
Can you describe how big this cave system is, specifically how tall it is?
Varies from point to point, but typically you're looking at 15 foot high.
Okay. Aluando will fly up over here and stay at maximum altitude. And he will hold his action.
To do what?
He knows that Averine is going to cast Dragon Breath on him, so he will wait until he has Dragon Breath, and once he does, he will let it loose.
Okay. All right. Anything else from Aluando?
That's it.
Well, we have some specters we're going to get. Also have a pretty decent fly speed. So, one specter flying into that position. Does it trigger?
We were aware that it was more than.
Yes.
We all reported back, so I'm going to wait to see if the other one turns up, and then depending on what that one does, I'll trigger it after.
In which case, this is going to attack. It has disadvantage because of the protection. That is a 17 to hit.
Does not hit.
Right, Averine, what are you going to do?
So I'm sorry, I meant to drop Aluando one more back. Is that okay? To move him there?
Sure.
Okay. Averine will now cast Dragon Breath as a bonus action. Spell. Okay, and that will trigger Aluando's action himself.
Yep.
And he will cast, or he will use his Dragon Breath of Fire on the two that are at the front line right now.
So go ahead and that's what the saves. So the Wraith. So the Wraith Wraith succeeds. Spectre.
You have to change those gifts every time.
Yeah, also spoilers. Jeez Louise.
I think after a week, you can't make that argument anymore.
An hour with the way Facebook moves. Oh my gosh.
Both of these creatures manage to save, so they take half as much damage. As the fire damage hits, you notice they are resistant to fire damage.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So they take half damage, which is 3, halved down to 1 point of fire damage apiece.
Sweet. All right, then Averine, with her regular action, will cast Firebolt. And she has seen this moment ahead of time, so she'll use her nat 20 to crit.
Okay. Which one do you hit?
I'm aiming for the Wraith.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the damage dice twice. Add an extra d10. 13. Okay. It is resistant to fire damage, so that is cut down to 6 in total. Okay. Anything else from you, Averine?
I thought magic was the way to kill these beasties. They're resistant to my magic. That's it.
Okay. After Averine's turn, the last of the spectres will approach. Get up to that point. Which will that trigger you?
That'll trigger.
So the explosion goes off. I need Aluando to also roll a dexterity saving throw as well as all of the spectres. What's the DC on that tower?
Oh, I've not been asked that before.
Oh no, Aluando though.
13. No.
No.
13. I was looking at the wrong thing, but it's the same.
I have an 18 from the spectre on the left, and 19 from the wraith, and the spectre on the right. And 11. So the spectre on the right is immediately engulfed in this magical flame, as is Aluando. So Aluando is also glowing.
All glittery.
So that was your reaction to do that.
Mhm.
In that case. All right, so the spectre that had approached Greco is still going to attack Greco. Has disadvantage on the attack. That's a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay.
And I'll roll my con save to maintain my spell.
DC is 10 as you're about to take 16 points of necrotic.
Holy crap. That's not good, guys. I'm having a hard time finding my sheet. Okay. It's a con save, right?
Con save, please.
Okay.
So that's for the spell.
Yeah.
Take the 16 points of necrotic damage, and I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw. You're fine.
All right.
Okay. Next up is the Wraith. It's going to push past you to Carmen. This will give Shargo an attack of opportunity.
And I will have foreseen the Wraith's attack and use my other portent of 8 for the Wraith's roll, assuming it's going to attack. At least that's what Averine has foreseen.
Well, it is going to try and attack Carmen. So what was the actual roll?
8.
8. Okay, so does a 15 hit you, Carmen?
Yeah, it does. It does hit me, yeah.
Then, fortunately, you will also take 7 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
Bad on this one. Hit hard. Also roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Good. Shargo is going to work with the spectre that's right there. So instead of making a shield flash, it's not really going to work. It's just simply 3 bear attacks. I'm going to put the shield away and do this two-handed. 18 half down to 7, plus the 19 half down to... So, sorry, the 18 half down to 9, plus the 15 half down to 7 will destroy the Spectre. Carmen, what you going to do?
I'm going to stab him with my... Stab him with a rapier. And then use my blade flourish as well.
Use your defensive flourish.
That one. How do I do that on the thingy?
It's not.
So what do I do?
Just roll an extra D6.
D6 for blade flourish.
You should have a blade flourish macro set up for you.
I clicked on it. Oh, I do. No, sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, that was the one.
The first one. Right.
Oh, okay.
So you did use
Blade flourish just increases your AC.
Yeah.
No, that's defensive flourish. You should be able to roll.
That's the defensive flourish is the one she wanted to do.
We'll use the 3.
Yeah.
As well as dealing the extra damage. So you deal an extra 1 point of damage to the creature, and your AC increases by 3 till the start of your next turn.
Cool.
Anything else from you?
I'm going to move. Do I move out the way or not? No, I'm going to stay there.
Greco.
Going to hold my sword up in the air and in Aquan mutter a quick prayer to Kalimvor and cast Word of Radiance on both of the Wraith and the Spectre. Cast to what level? Do you know? I asked you would I put my caster level, or would I put level 4? Would I put level 3? Just the damage increases for every 5 levels, so I'll just put 1, I guess.
That's because it's a problem with the Roll20 character sheets. Whenever it text in the at higher levels,
okay.
It asks you what spell level you're casting it at.
Got it.
Make sure that you don't actually expend that first level spell slot.
Yeah, I just fixed it on my sheet. But so I do this though to hit them both with radiant damage on a con save. I think it's DC 14.
Okay.
DC 12, sorry.
Wraith rolls an 18. Spectre. Save. Rolls a 10. So the Spectre fails, taking 1d6 radiant damage.
Yes, I'll roll that.
Roll 1d6. Okay. Takes 2 points of radiant damage.
All right. It's something.
Yep. It's definitely not resistant to radiant damage.
Great. And I'm going to... I'm just going to stay put. I don't need all those free attacks against me.
Zola.
I need this thing to die again.
25 will hit. 5 points of slashing damage. 9 half down to 4.
And then I'm going to turn my sights to the Spectre and try to catch that one with my dirk.
20 will hit again. 3 half down to 1.
Great. Okay, now I can actually take a step back without taking opportunity attacks from either one of them.
Grigory will hold his turn until after Averine.
So you're pulling yourself completely back.
Completely out of the order, back below Averine.
Wow.
How high is the ceiling?
15 foot.
I'm going to crawl up the ceiling, come up above the spectre, not the spectre, the wraith, and then jump down and pincer and do stuff.
Okay. So the walking up onto the ceiling is no problem. That's going to be 15 foot of it to get up there, and then move over, 10 foot to move. Right. As you fall, what are you doing?
Attacking.
Go ahead.
That one.
Come on, Seekers.
The 20 will hit. It deals 8 piercing, which is half down to 4. It has to make a con save against poison, but it's immune to poison, so it doesn't matter. Anything else from
Nope.
Alawando?
Is it possible for Alawando to get both bad guys without getting anyone else in his 15-foot cone of fire?
If he flies directly above and turns down and aims it in like a cone.
Then the cone.
That's a 2D cone you're thinking of, Steven.
I know.
I can see it in your eyes. Like, it's a cone.
Yeah.
Is a cone of fire, and that is a 15-foot cone. So if you want to hit the spectre, the wraith, and not hit the spider, which specifically said he was dropping down on top of the wraith, you're not going to be able to do so.
Very well. We'll instead just aim for the specter.
Okay. Yes, roll a dexterity save, correct?
Correct.
Roll a natural 1 to pull 10 halved down to 5. Resistant.
Aaron, your mouth's a little
You're
bit away
very, very
from the
quiet.
mic.
You should speak directly to the mic.
Sorry.
If you're not right on the mic, it gets real quiet. Sorry.
Sorry. I will have this fixed for next time as best as I can. So, it's resistant to the damage. It failed, so it takes 5 points of fire damage.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Averine.
Averine will move to get a clear shot at the wraith and shoot another firebolt.
Okay. That will miss.
Just a
Anything else,
warning
Matt?
shot.
It's got inspiration.
It's got inspiration.
You're inspired.
I don't think that's going to do it,
I don't think that's going to do.
but thank you.
Alright.
That's it.
Gregory.
Gregory is going to burn a sorcery point and point at the specter and the wraith and say freeze in that deep booming voice of his with command.
When you say freeze, you
As
mean-
in, don't move. Like police. Freeze!
Okay. All right. Then what's the wisdom saving throw? What's your spell save DC on that?
15.
You cast that, and it has no effect.
On either of them?
The spell has no effect if the target is undead.
Great.
Bummer.
God.
Well, that's rough.
You learn something
done.
new every day.
Every day.
All right.
Kids at home, remember, read your spells before you cast them.
The
I'm
spectre
done.
is going to strike out at Greco.
Again, I don't. This is very rude.
Well, you're right there.
Well, I know. But
It still has disadvantage on the attack, though.
yeah. Mhm.
So that's going for you. And because of that, that'll be a natural 1. So that's going to miss.
Right. Great.
The Wraith, with 2 targets.
The Wraith's been covered for you, isn't it?
Will also go for Greco.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm the big holy man. It makes sense.
That'll be a 20 to hit.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I think I'm going down. Based on the damage last time,
10 points of necrotic damage.
I have exactly 10 hit points right now, so that brings me to 0.
I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh, I have advantage because of protection.
Mm-hmm. So you have a 12.
Yeah.
Your hit point maximum is reduced by 10 hit points.
Well, that doesn't do anything to me right now. But I'm going to put... Hold on. So I don't get it all confused. Okay.
Okay. That's the Wraith done. Shargo will step up and attack the Spectre that's currently glowing. Again, 3 big stabs. 1, 2, 3. Which hit. Kill. Carmen, what do you want to do?
I'm going to stab the Wraith in front of me again with my rapier, and then also have a blade flourish. So D8.
D6.
Oh no, I've already got it set up. I'm sorry. Got it set up. A defensive flourish.
Okay. The 13 will hit. Deals 13 down to 6 points of damage, plus the extra 3 for, so 68 points of damage. The Wraith flickers in and out for a moment. It's almost dead. Anything else from you, Carmen?
I'm going to... Is Greco down?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give some inspiration to... Have I got inspiration left? I have. I've got 1 inspiration left. I'm going to give it to Zola.
Okay. Greco, I need a death saving throw from you.
Is that just a D20 or is it a con?
It is a D20.
All right.
But you should have on your character sheet the word death save.
Oh, is there? Oh, so there is.
Click it.
Ugh.
And that'll be a failure.
Yeah.
Zola.
Well, I feel like everything is suddenly on my shoulders this entire battle, so I must engage ferociously. Is Tower on the ceiling, or is he on the ground now?
He's on the ground.
Can I fit comfortably there?
You can.
Okay. Yeah! Just a +1, but...
So for 7 points of damage, 12 up to down to...
Double your sneak attack.
Yeah, double the sneak attack. Roll sneak attack, Zola, one more time.
Oh.
Because you
I thought
crit.
you're just gonna 10 it. There you go.
Because that's better than just 10.
Yes.
Right. Zola, how do you want to kill it?
How does one kill a wraith with blades? I
Very
imagine
carefully.
it's not nearly as cinematic as the ghoul from last time. It's probably just like I freaking fan it away with my blades there.
You wildly flail about as much as you can with the blades, just really trying to get purchase with whatever you can.
Shoot.
Eventually, you manage to cut enough gaps in the ethereal form that it just begins to split, separate out. The Wraith dead, the Spectres out of dead as well. Right, and with that, as the battle occurs, wraps up, we're going to take a 15-minute break. So, while we're out on break, folks, check on the screen, you will soon see today's Who's That Monster. Type away in chat. Let's see who's the first one to get it correct. See you all in 15. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, everyone. After the break, thank you for sticking with us. So, the answer to today's Who's That Monster is a ghoul. Correct?
Yes.
Nice, Jazzy.
Yeah. I need to just double check something.
It's either a good thing or a bad thing. It's never a
It's
benign.
it's an apology on my behalf. I'm sorry. I had in my mind it would be a ghoul. Unfortunately, the image referred to a ghast. That is my bad. So if you guessed ghoul, sorry, it's actually a ghast. There is a very slight difference between the two. It's the tongue. Gives it away. All right. So, welcome back, everyone. We will jump right into the start of the where we were. So, battle just ended. Everyone's been, well, a couple people have been hit more than others. If I remember correctly, we have someone who's still unconscious. Greco, I need a death saving throw from you.
It looks like before we left, Averine cast Healing Word.
Fair enough.
So I'm back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're conscious now.
Yeah.
But you don't feel very good.
No, I feel like crap. Not good at all.
It's rather difficult to hit the incorporeal.
I
Yes.
did not have too much of a problem myself. Did you?
It might have been
Nope.
most prudent if we had attempted to flee rather than engage. Although we may not
tried.
have had much choice.
We tried fleeing. We just
These are
Have Shago
dangerous
with us.
minds.
But we are okay. And that is one more danger that we have removed from the mine. We should be happy.
Perhaps if I was not so tired, I would be more happy.
I'm just going to stare at Shargo, just not impressed.
It was not my fault.
Grigori's going to move ahead just a little bit and see, because wraiths may have come up from a dead body, or there's just check out this part of the cave. Just kind of search it, see if there are any other ghoulies to worry about, or if we're in a relatively safe place now. Maybe see if there's any giant crates full of loot sitting around. Probably not, but he's looking.
Roll a perception check.
I'm in for that.
I'm already doing it.
Okay. 19 for the spider, 9 for Carmen. What's your passive, Carmen?
It is 11.
The giant spider is the one that finds this. Something is in the air. A scent that you pick up on. It is metallic. It's tinny. It's got almost like a taste of iron in it, but not like ore. And you approach, get closer and closer. It now the air feels a little thick as you're smelling it. That's the smell of rotten flesh, decaying. You track the smell down, skitter around a corner looking for it. You will find a chamber with quite a few remains in quite a disarray.
Anyone following me?
I am.
Kind of wander in there.
Which you understand that to mean spider. You go inside, roll a perception.
Right, I'll get on 2 legs and then point the other 6 in the direction we're going.
Are the legs strong enough to support that?
Roll an investigation check, please. Giant spider. Giant spider tower.
I don't have investigation as giant
It's
spider.
intelligence.
Spider tower.
Spider tower.
Does whatever a spider
Does
tower
whatever a
does.
spider does.
I'm actually the same intelligence as the thing. So,
Okay. It's just a mass of flesh. There's a lot of bone. There's a lot of muscle, tissue. There's a lot of mess in this room, actually. Bodily fluids everywhere. This is nasty.
Did they follow me? Did anybody else follow me?
Grigori did.
Grigori did? Does he want to have a look? Because spiders doesn't really. I'm wandering around.
You're getting it all over your legs.
I'm kind of walking up the walls and then kind of peering around.
Right, Grigori, roll me an investigation check.
I mean, he's not going to be digging into that pile. He's going to look at it and think.
I know you're not digging into it, but all right. You do start looking through, and there are bits and pieces that you're tracking for. Okay, so if these are bodies, body parts, then it would help to identify how many different body parts you've got.
To try and put together how many different bodies there are?
You can just about notice, okay, there's a couple skulls, a couple spinal cords there. There's a hip bone, a couple leg bones. They're probably in... You can assume maybe they're in pairs. With a bit of calculation, you can roughly estimate that this is a grave of about 6 different humanoid, medium-sized skeletal... Well, not skeletal, but corpses.
Sure.
In various
Any halves
forms.
in there? Is this like 6.5? Or, okay, there's probably the 6 in here.
Yeah, roughly that you can confirm. It's at least 6 skulls. That's the best thing you can figure out. But amidst all of that, it's broken flesh. It's bodies in a series of levels of decay. So it's fairly clear that not all of them died at the same time.
Sure.
What do you guys want to do?
I'll do a circle in the room and I'll come back next to his side and kind of like do and see if he can gauge. I'm kind of saying, what do you want to do? Like a shrug.
They're already underground. They're pretty much buried, and I don't think it's worth our effort to try and burn them. That would just suck up the air. So I think they're as buried as they'll ever be, and we can just go.
Okay. And you just walk away. You walk away. Do you tell the rest of the party?
If they ask, but otherwise, no.
Hey, did you guys find anything?
We found a room with various corpses, about 6.
Woo! Go check it out. I specifically would like to look for any scraps of cloth or material that would signify them as Flaming Fist.
You roll an investigation check. For this, you'll have to get dirty. Unless you can explain away.
That's fine. My leathers are already stained.
You get right in there, just pulling stuff apart. It's everywhere. You come out, nothing.
Yep, it's dead people.
I'll have a look. Is there any... It's strange that we'll have 6 dead bodies just gathered here in a mine. It's not like this is a catacomb.
I'm imagining like one of those ball pits at McDonald's, and Grigori being like, "I'm not getting in there," and then Avery and Zola like, "Woo!"
Now that you guys are actually kind of working together with this, it's not going to be difficult. You'll help each other. You'll give each other advantage. Eventually, you guys will be able to sort through the flesh and find what you're looking for. Zola, yes, your instinct is 100% right. there is cloth that should indicate members of the Flaming Fist here, or at least those currently garrisoned at Fort Belawarian. There's also some cloth that seems native to Port Nine-Zaro, though. Judging by the bodies that had these little pieces of cloth, you guys can estimate that those wearing Fort Belawarian cloth were placed here, or had died first. Those wearing Port Nine-Zaro cloth died last.
If they're working together, is this being discussed?
I think they would be discussing it out loud. I would think.
That's very curious. We got the fort and the port represented in these bodies.
Can I look at Shargo's reaction to this?
He's disgusted. Oh, that's. Oh.
Is it a fake disgusted, like he might have seen this before, and this is the reason he doesn't want to be down it?
What? Roll an insight check. Pick my lucky die. This one. You believe his disgust. What did you ask, Zola?
I was going to ask Shago if maybe we should take any kind of indicators about who these people were, or the Flaming Fist sigils with us, and give it to Liara when we get there to say these bodies are down there.
I think it might be best if we simply let someone know that they are here. Let us mark the area. Let us remember where this is, and then send someone back. I would prefer not to. I think it best we do not disturb the bodies unnecessarily. There may be a perfectly understood, reasonable reason.
Have I heard anything on my side of the fence in recent history about Nine-Zaro dealings with Belawarian under the table?
You know that obviously the relationship is tense in that situation. A lot of merchants really want to find out why Fort Belawarian is doing so well financially when things are getting harder, especially with the pirate aspect. So it does make sense that regularly Port Nine-Zaro-rians would be sent to Fort Belawarian.
Okay, so maybe these guys came in to check out the mines, and then they were caught by the Flaming Fist, and I'm saying this all out loud, and the Flaming Fist protected their mines by killing those guys. Wait, the Flaming Fist died first?
Apparently so.
Can you tell how they died, Zola?
I can give it a shot. That'd be like a medicine.
That'll be a medicine check. Yeah.
Do they appear to have been stabbed?
Any cut marks on the bones?
Your autopsy seems to suggest that the dismemberment was post-mortem.
The dismemberment appears to have been post-mortem. Weirdly.
The actual cause of death, as best as you can see, is every single one of these spinal cords has been snapped.
Oh, geez. All of the spinal cords are broken. That was cause of death. Something came through and snapped everybody's spines. We should get out of this mountain, like, now.
Greco just doesn't look happy at all.
No. I figured I was not following very closely with them because in no interest in doing anything besides getting the heck out of here as quickly as possible. This has not been good.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, Zola, grab the fabric so you can give proof to Commander.
No, we don't. We've already discussed it. We don't need it. We're just gonna let them know the bodies are down here and mark the spot on the map.
I will remember where we are. And he leans to Sola. Help me remember where we are.
I will remember where we are.
Okay. So, leading you all back up towards the mines, the travel will actually take you another 2 days of just heading through the mines themselves, turning and doing so. Everyone will have gained the benefits of a long rest the following night, which will have removed all levels of exhaustion from everyone in the party.
Grigori
Right.
will having left, trying without getting caught, he'll prestidigitate Averine and Zola to clean the gunk off of them because they'd be gross.
Thank
you
you
don't know
very
I did
much.
that.
Well, Carmen, thank you very much.
Self-cleaning?
Pretty much.
Welcome.
Because I've seen her do it to other people before, so I will agree with her.
I'll take the credit. That's fine.
And before bed, even though it's not going to have any mechanical effect, Greco's going to do a prayer of healing for everybody that was injured in the battle. We're going to heal it all off at night anyway, but more as a bringing us all together to chant and sing Kumbaya.
As the morning arrives, Greco, you notice that you're not quite 100%. That wound that Wraith gave you, it seemed to have scarred a little bit weird, and it's not healing properly.
I imagine there's just some permanent discoloration now, a little bit of bags under the eyes that weren't there before.
I'll let you pick where on your body that scar, the claw attack was, that has left this visible scar. So it can be along the shell that you now have a cut on, along the front part of your shell, still technically part of the shell, I think. Or it could be on your arm, your face, whatever.
I'd say just right down the front, like right across.
So nice.
Like three big lines.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not pleasant, not good.
Not healing.
Looks
right.
awesome.
Greco, you're not looking well.
No, it appears that the Wraith's attack was far more potent than we had ever anticipated. Usually a full night's rest is enough to recover, but now, I don't know. It's still here. It does not bode well. These mountains are a cursed place.
Have you prayed for healing? I mean, aside from that ceremony we had before we set off again.
Well, I could use a healing, extra healing on myself. He'll give me 1 moment, and he's going to just cast a healing word. I'll use that, one of my uses of that today, to heal up what's left, only to learn that it will do nothing.
You try to heal up that little extra. You know you're not complete.
Yeah.
And it just won't work.
It seems things... Perhaps Kellenvor's left. We've had a lot of scrapes with the undead, and things have not gone as well as they could have. I must pray more about this. Hopefully get some insight into what all is going on. Now,
you wish I could try my healing to see if this affects you better. If you think it is your god that has abandoned you.
No, if I felt his presence when praying this morning, so it must be something purely beyond that, and I wouldn't want you to expend any of your energy in a futile act of healing that which won't be healed. But this might be something we'd want to look into. If there's something going on that we need to know about. Now, out of character, Teo, is there any role that I could do to connect this to his run-in with in his past, where his mentor was killed and his soul was trapped, to see if there's any connection there? I don't know if he would draw those connections or if there is a connection, but
there's a extremely slim chance you might have heard something.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll a history check.
Yeah, disadvantage.
Not so much disadvantage, but you need to get high.
Yeah, well, I only have a +1, so it's probably impossible.
Yeah. Don't know anything about this. What you do know, because you had a good enough check, is yes, you are 100% right. One full night's rest should have healed you, but it's just not working anymore.
Mm-mm. There is more we must look into here. There are foul effects at play. And it could be disastrous for us all.
You all continue making your way further back. 2 days will go by. You all rest fully for 2 days before you break out of the mine. Back. Daylight.
It's oppressive underground, isn't it?
Yes, I do not like these enclosed spaces that much. I am used to the open sky and fresh air. Though it was much cooler down there than this oppressive heat.
By now, the rain has stopped.
Okay.
But your party are now moved up a little bit. You are a day's walk through the thick jungle away from Fort Belawarian. As you guys are approaching the fort, is there any sort of preparations or anything you would like to do as you're making your way up?
Just a reminder, I've been regularly freezing these ghoul heads. How are they looking?
Roll me an Arcana check. Let's see how good you are at, or nature, because your magic is technically natural based.
Yeah, both those are intelligence.
You shouldn't be a spellcaster.
I'm a wisdom-based spellcaster. How does that work?
Bible? No?
That doesn't matter.
There we go.
Oh. Doesn't
These
matter.
are in great condition. You've managed to even stop the blood from clotting. It's staying nice and cool. You've drained it when you've needed to. You're practically a refrigerator right now. Constantly churning them out. All right. Zola, what were you going to do?
Averine,
Aye.
would you like to stay outside while we go turn in the heads?
We're on the same page. I do not wish to be a distraction in our dealings, and I feel that if I were front and center, it might be that. However, I would not want to be out of the room. I'd like to see if I can get a read on this portier. I have a way to detect her thoughts in a manner in which she will be no wiser. But I have to be pretty close in order to do so.
When you say in a manner where she might not be the wiser, what does that entail?
Well, I can get pretty much what you're thinking about on the surface level. But if I wanted to probe deeper, that is when it might alert someone. Nay, it would certainly alert someone to my attempt. So, merely just scanning what she's thinking about as we converse with her. Other than the gestures I do to cast the spell, and I can do so discreetly behind cover, I would be drawing no attention to myself.
If you end up learning something that is just like the worst thing possible, it's just the worst, can you promise me to keep your mind together and your emotions until we exit the place, and then we can attend to it?
I'll keep it to myself, but I would like to see if maybe we could subtly make her think about the things that I want her to be thinking about. So using words to subliminally cue her train of thought. And so what I had in mind would probably be better in the hands of either Carmen or Grigori, as they have a way with words themselves. But I was going to suggest that we relate to Portier that we were afraid to travel by sea due to the presence of pirates, to get her thinking about the pirates. And then further tell her that Shago told us to avoid the sea because there was no way that we'd know whether or not they'd attack or when they would do so, to try to make her think about those things. And then we would suggest that we are presenting these heads to her as tribute. But then say, of course, this is also the quid pro quo of the agreement that we had. See, using these things to subtly get her to think about things that would be in line with what Shago has told us, but possibly get more information from her. Because I don't think it's a surprise to you all that I do not trust the lady.
To be fair, Averine, that list is very short.
Which list?
The list of people you trust.
Oh. I don't think that's true. I mean, present company accepted.
Okay. Does that, out of character, does that mean Grigori's not on the list or he is on the list? I think it's not. Anyway. Very well. Though I'll warn you, you're well aware we almost blew things at our last negotiations. If we are discovered, things would go poorly for us.
I'll not say a word. And if she addresses me, I'll be polite. But I'll keep myself to the back. I'll be behind Tower and Greco, who should be able to cover any lines of sight.
Who's having this conversation? Who else hearing this?
I'm here.
I mean, me too. Is it just the three of us?
I'm addressing the group at large.
Everyone.
I am on board with any plan that involves figuring out what this Portier woman is truly up to. I share your reservations about her. She seems like a dishonorable sort, and I want to make sure we can get the truth out of her, since she surely will not be willing to give it to us otherwise.
What do you think, Shago?
I think it is an invasion of privacy to read someone's thoughts without their permission.
Well, on the one hand, if there's nothing wrong, then this can completely clear her of our skepticism, and things would be a lot easier. On the other hand, if something is wrong, then wouldn't you want to know that too?
I think if you are always having to double-check someone's thoughts in order to learn whether or not to trust them, you will be very lonely for a very long time.
So far, it's just Liara.
Didn't your mother send you to spy on them? Do you not consider that an invasion of privacy?
I am doing it subtly. You are trying to manipulate her, force her words. When you force a person to think about something that you're hoping to find, I believe you will find exactly what you are looking for, but only because you are looking for it, not because it is true.
Those are wise words, brother.
I can think all kinds of things right now that are not true, but only because you tell me to think about them. I do believe it is possible for Liara to be caught out by you unjustly. That is why I think this is an invasion.
I want an insight check, Shago.
Sounds like he's got a little crush or something like that.
We cannot act merely on the things that she thinks about. Such a thing would be irresponsible because the context is important. I agree with you there. But if we were to suggest the word tribute and she suddenly pictured a chest and a location, surely we could then investigate that place and see if a chest was there and see if there were pirates nearby. These things would not be caused by us suggesting the word. It would merely be confirmed by what she thought and then what we saw with our own eyes.
Those that rolled insight can tell. Obviously, he's trying really hard to not. There's definitely something else behind there. He sighs. Very well. I have said my opinion. Yes, you do as you wish. Just, please. We do not know what causes a person to think the way that they do. Do not act on the assumption that everyone is evil, simply because what you perceive to be evil is so.
Shago, I've been wondering for a long time, pretty much the extent of our travels. What did Liara do that you witnessed that has earned your loyalty so much? What kind of person do you think she is?
I believe Liara is a woman who has had to make a lot of difficult choices in her life. Does she protect her people or let them die? Maybe she has to do some bad things in order to protect her people, but she does so.
Well, what has she done that makes you think this? Can you give me an example of a time in which she was with men and it happened? Have you ever seen it?
Roll a persuasion check. There was a time when Liara would go outside the walls herself and explore the jungle with her men. I was brand new to the area at the time, and I was permitted the opportunity to go and witness the leader, the Blaze, in all her glory. We were out hunting for 5 days. Unfortunately, on the 5th day, our group was beset by a lot of undead creatures, and 3 of our men were heavily wounded. Liara, she did what she needed to do to keep them safe. She did everything that was possible to help them stay alive. Yes, it required us to scavenge, to claim whatever we could. We found some people who were disrespecting the jungle, poachers who were trying to hunt the animals and for whatever. We unfortunately had no supplies, but they did, so we took their supplies. Then Liara carried each of those men back to the fort herself, while I carried all these supplies. Since that day, I have trusted Liara as a leader. She may have done bad things, but it has always been for the betterment of her people. I would do the same thing for you.
Averine, a word, please. And step aside for a short private conversation with Averine.
Insight check.
Okay, you don't like me. I don't particularly care about you. That's fine. But while I don't like you, I trust you well enough. I don't trust Shago right now. And I worry that if we go through with your plan, he might tell someone. Here's a proposal for you to consider. Why don't we agree that you're just going to stay out of camp so that there are no worries about that, and that we're not going to do your plan, and we tell them as much. And then I will cast invisibility on you. You'll come with, we'll do the plan, and Shago will be none the wiser.
It is a good plan. I do not. I mean, I think we're on the same page as far as that one goes. Nodding towards Shago. I worry if their stronghold has any countermeasures against invisibility, and if me entering under this enchantment would provoke the attention we're trying to avoid.
Well, then I will cast it. Let me check. On my question, DM.
Yes.
On my twinned spell, it says I can cast it on a creature if it doesn't have range, etc., etc. It doesn't say anything about concentration. Can I use a twin spell on a concentration spell?
You maintain concentration on them as if it was one spell. But you maintain concentration on.
Then I will tell them I'm casting invisibility on myself, or another, or Carmen, or Zola even. And they'll go on ahead. You just stay towards the back of the group. If one of us becomes visible, you'll know to stop and not enter.
That's very clever.
I've never been accused of being ignorant, just of being a devil.
Very good. I like the plan. I wouldn't nominate yourself or Carmen to be the ones to become invisible, as you'll likely either one of you should be the ones presenting ourselves.
Well, then how about we do it to Zola and not advise her of our plans, just so she...
I have a pet, and I present Aloando. I say, can you cast it on both of us?
Yes, I don't see why not.
All right, I'll send Aloando ahead and see if Aloando...
Well, we're still a ways out, and I can only... The mental concentration... the longest I've been able to hold that spell's about an hour, so we want to wait till we get closer.
I do just want to point out that, and I'm assuming Grigori would know, that invisibility ends if the target of invisibility attacks or casts a spell.
I didn't want to say.
I mean, that's true. I presume that Averine would be hiding, not just hanging out.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Well, Averine, when you do cast the spell, that will interfere with my magics and my concentration, and you would become visible again. Something to keep in mind.
If I were to suddenly become visible again, I think this would cause more harm to our purposes. I will do so. I will cast my spell discreetly, and will not worry about this concealment. Although it is a good plan.
Shall we still tell Shago we're not going to do it?
I'll leave that to you. I have no qualms about leading him astray or being upfront with him. I imagine he would not think, having traveled with us, that I would suddenly bow to your wisdom and just be cowed into not casting the spell against someone I have routinely spoken ill against.
Oh, Averine, I don't think anyone would be fooled into thinking that you would cow to me in any way at all. Very well. Return to the group then. Just personal matter. Just had to work it out. Where were we?
Can I have a chat? Gregory, can we have a quick chat?
Ooh, it's so in demand. I love it. Come into my office. And we walked back to where Avreen and I had been talking.
For saying no one likes that man, he is very popular.
Carmen, yes.
I'm just going to ask the obvious question. What's the point of all this?
Oh,
Why does it matter to us, really?
I mean, it's not much to me. I think for Zola and Averine, who have been here in Chult, they're concerned about larger machinations. I think Zola, for her mother's sake, is concerned about pirates. Since her mother's a merchant prince, they have many vessels that I'm sure have been prey to pirate attacks. And if this flaming fist was responsible, she would want to know. Certainly I think it's in the interest of Zola to find out. I'm with you. It doesn't really matter to me.
That's what I wondered.
Those certainly helping others so they later feel indebted to help us in return. Nothing wrong with that.
For a split second, I imagined you had a little halo over your head, and then it cracked.
No, never confuse these horns for a halo, my dear.
All right. Okay. I'm going to let you take lead on this because I'm not too aware of absolutely every detail, and I don't know. I'm probably more concerned about us focusing on the actual, task at hand. But
well, and don't forget, part of why we are returning to present the ghoul heads is they will pay us necessary funds, which will get us
that.
to go.
Oh no, I have not forgotten that.
And it also, the Flaming Fist does control this area. So at the very least, it will provide safer travels as we head to our next destination.
Providing it goes well.
Well, at this point, we will simply go in, hand over the ghoul heads. I don't think anything untowards will happen.
Okay.
And I would tell you if that weren't the case, my dear.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Are we ready to enter Fort Belwarian?
No. Tower wants to speak with Gregory. Only kidding.
Tower, my friend, you have a wonderful sense of humor.
Well, just before me and Gregory finish, Gregory, do you have the ability to speak to somebody without speaking?
Telepathy is not in my repertoire, unfortunately.
That's a shame. No. Okay.
I can whisper.
Hmm?
And I can whisper and I can talk in code. So if there were some code words you wanted to have scattered in conversation, I could do that.
Okay. It was more just in case we go into trouble. Maybe a code word.
Let's pick a word that we can say to know that we're in trouble.
Well, say you think it's going to rain. It looks like rain is coming, and then if you need me to cause a distraction, play a little tune or something just to try and end the conversation or steer the conversation away, then you could say something like it's you think it's going to rain.
Sounds good.
Okay.
But you should be careful because it is going to rain.
Interesting about that. Wait, shall I go there? I thought this was me and Carmen still to the side.
Yeah,
that's
Shago eavesdropping.
Well, you were having a conversation in detail with him, questioning him, and then two of you just walk off. He's interested in what the conversation is being.
So he was there. Oh, listen, yeah.
But still, maybe
one last thing, Carmen.
Going to
do
rain.
You speak celestial? Do you speak celestial or infernal, Carmen?
I don't believe I do.
Oh, we can't all be so blessed.
No. Oh well, never mind. But then I can talk to you about having to talk. So, you know, you're blessed with one, I'm blessed with another.
That is right.
Okay. Cool.
Shago, lead on.
So, leading through the jungle, he will get you to Fort Belwarian on the next day. The sun is high in the sky. It's hot. You break out of the trees. There's no more shade. And you will walk up the main entrance of Fort Belwarian, which looks exactly the same as it did previously. People working in and out, moving around. There are a couple people currently training over by the jousting arena, but otherwise nothing out of what was the previous visit, out of the ordinary. As you approach, are you just going to charge straight in towards Zola? Not Zola.
Or Shago presumably
Yeah.
would go and
Sorry.
set an appointment and get us set. We're not going to kick down the door.
Then he will head up by himself, and he'll spend about an hour talking to Liara privately.
While he's gone.
I didn't expect him to go ahead of us and have so much time with Porter. I think I better stay away. We have no idea what he just told her, so I'll stay out.
This extra hour is bothering me.
Okay. You're not going to know it's an hour. How long after him stepping up to arrange a meeting with you?
Right, we're hanging out outside. After the first half an hour, it's like, I got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And after 45 minutes, it's like, okay, this is not great. Perhaps only one or two of us should go to collect the bounty and arrange transport.
No, we should all stay together.
Tower, do you think I should go in there?
If you stay quiet, fiery one, I'm sure it will be fine.
When Shago left, he was under the impression that I was working against the will of the lady he's been spending the last hour with and seems very loyal to. I have a concern that he spent the last hour telling her that the redhead means her ill.
Then perhaps you go in open and try to make the conversation. Show your hands and look obvious that you cannot cast without her obvious. And present yourself as something that is not threatening.
Well, I do suppose that Shago would have to tell her that he has told us all of his secrets. And so maybe it's not as dire as I am thinking. I will avoid casting the spell, but I agree it is safe to keep us all together.
Zola.
Shago will return.
Quiet.
He will return soon after that hour mark. If that hour mark is when you guys start questioning, that's when he returns. When he does so, he will approach you all. I have arranged a meeting with Liara. She asked for a report on what we were doing. So I told her about the mine and how we were forced into the mine through the weather and took it upon ourselves to hunt the ghouls.
I'm rolling insight to see if he's withholding anything.
I want to try and signal to Averine that she should read Jago's mind. We can still do this plan, just on a different person.
I want to trust Shago.
Well, at least somebody got a good insight roll.
You all believe him. All believe what he's telling you is the truth.
The whole
He
truth.
then says, I will not be part of whatever meeting you have with her next. If you wish to find me, I will be near the barracks, training, cleaning my equipment. Please, go easy on her.
Before we go inside, I would like to pocket the sending ring. Take it off of my observable person.
Do you make it do you make it obvious that Shargo that you are now?
No.
Okay. Then he will go off, and you guys will be invited a moment later by some veteran in the fort. He'll lead you back up to that main room where you see the Yara Porter. Similarly dressed in full plate armor. However, a very severe difference. You guys have been away for almost 2 weeks now, actually. Been away for a while. She is very heavily leaning on a cane to be able to stay stood up. She's sweating profusely. It's a struggle for her to stand. As you've come in, she will then drop down into the chair. Please, sit down.
Greco will just address her briefly. Say, it seems you're injured. If you would like, I can bring some of my God's wisdom upon us to heal your wounds. That anything that may persist could be cured with my magic.
At this point, every little would help.
Right. And I'm going to say a prayer in Aquan. Cast a healing word.
The healing energy cascades over her. It seems to have absolutely no effect on her.
Would I feel that it had no effect?
Roll an insight check, perhaps, or a medicine check, something along those lines as you try to assess her reaction to being healed.
No, they're both the same for me, so I'll do insight.
Right.
Say it makes more sense.
It's similar to how you recently tried to heal yourself, but you couldn't heal yourself past your maximum.
Okay.
The withered form that she has is like an almost extreme case of what you've just had a taste of.
Okay. Greco's going to internalize this for now to talk about later, not in front of her in case she doesn't know exactly.
Shargo tells me that you have something for me.
Yes, you had requested various ghouls and proof of their death, and we have the heads here, though I wouldn't want to stain your chambers. If you have a man who could collect them to verify what they are, we can do so, or pass them to you now, Commander.
Speak to the quartermaster. You'll find him near the barracks. He's usually training with the boys. 20 gold a head, right? That's the deal.
I do not mean to be untowards, nor to pry, but you certainly seem the worse for wear today, Commander.
Today is just a bad day. Tomorrow will be a better one. I am still in command, and I can still command this fort.
Absolutely. It is still your name on our declaration, after all. Have you...
This is very difficult. I would like to apologize for my abrasiveness the last time we spoke. Sorry.
What would I roll to see if Greco can tell that if she's like dying, like she's not just worse for the wearer, but that she's like on her way out of this mortal coil.
Medicine check.
Okay.
I'd do that as well.
Yeah, you can do. Okay. It's really difficult without really properly examining her.
Mm-hmm.
At first glance, there is definitely something wrong with her.
Yeah.
She's only a 47-year-old woman. She's not supposed to be as frail as this.
As for the difference from the last 2 weeks, so strangely she's on the cane, but it's like, are there other subtle differences? Is her skin? Has she lost weight? Is she looking, still less colour in her skin? Usual stuff.
One of the things that her being in the full plate armor that she's in does is that it hides the majority of her person. And there is a slight difference in her face, as it does look thinner. The skin looks a little bit loose. Her eyes are a little darker, sunken in. It looks almost like she's got black eyes, but doesn't quite. She's tired. It's evident. That's the fact. Her little streak of grey is now much further. It seems like almost like she's aged a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Have you, if you don't mind me prying, our dear Greco here recently suffered a grievous injury that hasn't healed quite right. Have you ever been attacked or suffered damage from a wraith or a specter or one of those types of monstrosities as we encountered in the caves?
Not a wraith. No. Roll a persuasion check. Not bad. It has been a long time since I've actually been in battle myself. It's certainly not been in the last 2 weeks. I don't know, but old wounds are coming back. Very, very old wounds. About 15 years ago, I fell in battle. Spear to the back. I was brought back and sent down here to work. Past couple days, pain in the back has come back a little. It's been getting steadily worse. It's just old wounds. An old woman on her way out, apparently.
I'm gonna roll insight to see if she's it's like if she seems like she's intentionally downplaying what's going on, if she knows more.
Yep.
That she. Okay.
She is definitely trying to make light of the situation.
Yeah.
She knows this is a grave situation.
Yeah. Commander, as a priest to Kellumbor, we're very familiar with fatal wounds, the way they affect, the way people react when brought back to life after suffering such wounds. What I'm seeing here doesn't look like anything I've encountered before. Do you know why this would be coming back now, suddenly after so long?
Carmen and Tower died.
Just disappear.
Oh no.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The death curse. It's striking left and right.
Spreading. No, I don't know why it's come back. The best clerics and people that I've been able to get to quickly say there's nothing wrong with me, so I'm sure I'll be fine soon. Don't worry yourselves. We had a contract, and that contract will be fulfilled.
I'm just rolling this to see if she believes that she'll be fine soon. Not necessarily if she, just how much faith she actually has in her surviving.
She is very clearly putting on a brave face.
Yeah.
She's still the same person as she was before.
Of course.
But, there's been a severe shift in her demeanor, and only a few things can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine. Is there any other business that I and my men can do for you?
As we had previously discussed, we ultimately need to travel to Mesro. Our time in the jungles has proven to be quite time-consuming, as you know, and quite fraught with peril. We would prefer to take a ship that has its own perils, including pirates and sea creatures and raiding parties along the shore and whatever else. Given that we are seeking perhaps dangerous parts who may endanger this operation, and B, since you do have a bounty on a fellow down in Mesro whom you'd like a particular ring procured from, we were wondering if we could parlay that into some kind of passage, a quid pro quo, as it were, to assist us with our travels in exchange for completing a task that may aid in the security of Fort Beluarian and your objectives here.
Roll an insight check for me. You swear you see a slight shift, another, like a glimmer light that comes on. Yes, we should get you to Mesro as quick as possible. I can have my fastest ship ready for you tomorrow with a crew. They will get you to Mesro on the condition you bring me that bounty as soon as you possibly can.
Do you think it'll help?
I do.
Provided, of course, we can find it. Your information was that there was a gentleman around Mesro. When we get there, he may be gone. We have our own objectives. I don't want to be traipsing through the jungle on a wild goose chase. If we can get credible information, we will gladly pursue it.
Good. I know that the seas are dangerous right now. There's a lot of pirates in the Bay of Cholt. My best ship with my best crew will be able to protect you, and quite possibly the size of them might scare away any sort of dangerous people coming in. So I can have you there within the week. Unfortunately, the boats only leave from the western side of Fort Beluarian, so you will have to go out around the bay. But it can be quick, and it'll be safer.
Muted.
And I presume that if we find the ring, they could bring it back to you more quickly than if we traveled on foot. So they would wait for us and aid us in the return voyage.
Absolutely. The just north of Mesro is the Port Castiglia. They will wait in the port rather than in Mesro itself. And as soon as you are ready, they will collect you and bring you back.
That sounds great. I would only ask for one more detail. You had initially put a bounty of 30,000 gold pieces on the ring. Perhaps you could have your captain convey that, so when we find the ring, the transaction can be immediate. In the event we need to stay and the captain could return with the ring or something of that nature. If it's not possible, I understand, but that may facilitate the transaction.
Roll a persuasion check. The ring does me no good in my captain's hands, and I certainly don't want it in my captain's hands. Like it or not, I trust them in your hands more than I do my captain's. If I...
Inside check.
As she goes on to explain that if she holds this bounty of 30,000 on you, not on you, but to give to you when you return the ring, she expects to get the ring more than if she gives the bounty to her man, who will.
Well, and 30,000 is not nothing. It's understandable if you put all that on the ship now, you wouldn't have it here. You couldn't make payroll. You know, we get it.
You need to return with the ring to collect that.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
Can I send a message to Grigori?
You can.
I know he can't speak back, but if I could just send him a little message.
Does message require anything other than verbal components?
So I'm just gonna.
Ability is this
verbal?
No verbal. No think.
No.
You just got a point.
No, it's component. No, you need verbal, semantic.
So you have. Yeah, verbal, somatic, and material components. So you either need to wave a short piece of copper wire around, or have a spellcasting focus that you can utilize.
Okay.
But in order to cast the spell and do a message quietly, you're going to have to roll a stealth check.
What good is this? Is it an unspoken message when you have to have a verbal component to your spell?
Of course, Carmen could just start talking about the rain.
No, I was gonna ask something a bit more delicate. I'm not gonna get involved on that.
Is there anything else? Yes. Zola, is it?
Yeah. I'm Shago's sister, by the way. Hi. One, did Shago point out to you where in the mines we found your men? Can I double check that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
He pointed it out, and she will run you through a mental map of how to get back there. It's accurate.
And he told you that something ripped all their spines out? And that it wasn't Nyanzaru, despite the fact Nyanzaru bodies are there.
Broke their spines, not ripped them out.
Yeah, he explained to me that these individuals were killed by their necks being broken.
That was it. Yep. And then the second thing that I wanted to ask you, if you'd be willing to answer it, is how many of your men have, well, ballpark number, how many of them are in the same state as we have observed you to be? Lots. Little.
A few. Some worse, some not as bad.
Is there anything in common amongst all of you that you have determined?
I mean, there's a lot that we have in common. We have fought in the jungle together. We have faced all kinds of monsters. We have eaten the same foods. We have slept under the same roof.
Well, that's true of everyone, but what of the people who are sick versus those who are not?
So you can eliminate environment.
Mm-hmm.
I guess those who are under the same effect as I am are only part of some of my original crew. Back when I was first starting this fort here, first establishing it, we went through a lot back in those days together, and it's only those fellows that are falling under. None of the people that I have recruited from Chult or from this area. Only those I brought with me.
Could this be some disease that you caught long time ago and may be manifesting itself once again.
Could be. Could be.
Have you heard any information from the other settlements about similar things? I know you have eyes and ears out there. I know you do.
The city of Baldur's Gate has started showing similar effects. I haven't received any word about Port Nine-Zaro as of yet, but Baldur's Gate seems to have a couple people under a similar situation. Now, being from Baldur's Gate, me and my men, that makes sense, actually.
Now, your problems are through... You're feeling as though an old wound is resurfacing, it sounds. Have your men explained or expressed anything similar, that previous wounds are coming back to them, that they are now reliving past physical trauma?
Yes, most of them. Those who fell in battle have all complained that nightmares of that time, the wound itself flaring up from time to time. One unfortunate soul lost his head in battle. It was restored, but his neck doesn't feel the same, apparently.
So, are all of these comrades of yours who are suffering in the way you are these wounds that were incurred fatally? Or are these just sorenesses and injuries succumbing to just general effects of aging after a life of physical turmoil?
They were all of them were fatal.
Thank you.
Do you think there was something wrong with the resurrections?
I'm not sure, but I think something wrong is happening. And what it is, I don't know. But hopefully we can correct this before it gets even more wrong.
If the physicians checked you out and said that there's nothing wrong, perhaps it is arcane in nature.
Could be. Best physician told me I have less than 2 months left.
2 months. Got it.
Please return with that ring before.
Absolutely.
Does Shago know?
I'm sure he has insight enough to know that something is wrong, though I won't tell him what. Boy,
And you,
strong, but easily broken.
You've never called him a boy to his face, have you? Okay, good.
but you feel quite confident if you received the ring within 2 months that would solve your problem.
If what I know of the ring is true, then yes.
Well, and I'll turn to the group. Was there anything? This is a dangerous journey. Certainly not what we had initially signed up for, with these added complications and deadlines. Is there anything each of us require in order to meet the commander's requests?
Yes, actually. We were fighting the wraiths and the ghosties, and we were noticing that we weren't really affecting them that much. We whittled them down, and we eventually got there. But like my saber was not biting nearly as hard as it should have. Is there anything that you can arm us with that will do damage to these things? Like it should? We can probably cruise through everything twice as fast if you help us with that.
I also
There's certainly
observed that you all wear protection on your bodies, and I have not yet seen anything that I could possibly protect myself with that would fit my size. I do not know if you have anything that
And certainly, Commander, I don't think you'll have time to send a second party. So whatever can improve our chances of success will improve your chances of success.
And I want to let you know we're serious about this. It will do me and mine no favors if you no longer exist.
I was
I want to
told-
say how serious Zola is about that.
If you wish to, private rolls. Perhaps, as she says to you, we can make a deal then. The promise is 30,000 gold pieces upon the return of the ring successfully to me. I can provide each of you with something that you might need as a upfront loan, as it were, against the value of the reward. That which you keep upon return will be taken from the 30,000 that you are to be awarded.
I'm okay with that.
I know you're ill, and I don't want to henpeck and peck too much. The 30,000 was the agreement before there was a timeline. We now have a timeline we have to meet. So certainly some payment from the 30,000 is appropriate, but perhaps at a discount. If we don't get it in time, we forfeit the full amount, but if we can get it in time, there's should be some consideration for meeting the deadline.
Roll a persuasion check.
I've foreseen this, and
Everyone's been quiet for all this time.
and I'll use the portent of 16.
Okay. What's your persuasion modifier?
5.
So plus 5, so 21?
Yeah, 21.
Very well. A challenge. All right. Now, mechanically speaking, I'm probably going to regret this, but each of you may choose any one uncommon item from the DMG, except a Cloak of Displacement. And if you've played it in any of my games, you'll know why I do not like a Cloak of Displacement. You can pick any uncommon one, and it goes against the price of your 30,000. So we'll grab that outside of the session.
Cool.
As you wish. Okay. Right. Then, as your items and your armaments and the work that you need, the equipment that you need to do is being provided for you, a ship will be prepared for you for the next day to head out straight away with a crew. Is there anything you would like to do in Fort Belawarian? So, in turn, Averine first, since she's been quiet for the longest.
A few things. The last time we were in the fort, the first time we met Porter, the map in the room that we were in had stalls with dinosaurs in them. And I was just going to point out to Tower who might be interested in seeing these different dinosaurs. So I don't know if those dinosaurs are still there or if they're if they're just part of a map and they didn't actually exist. But I just wanted to throw out that possibility. And then I also wanted to do whatever I could to investigate the people of the fort, not Porter, to see if I could find any piratey connections.
Okay. So what would you be doing? Actually, you probably want to get the inner bailey inside the hut you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what skills would you be employing to do that very thing?
Well, if I have help, I will, rely on my comrades to do some questioning. If I don't have help, then I will be doing what I can to investigate. Maybe combined, we can get some leads, and I can see if they make sense by my understanding of history. So I guess it just depends on who I have help from and how how well we do. But yes, I'll primarily be using my skills of investigation and Oris 3.
So, Carmen, I think you offered to help.
I will help. I will help with. I'll just try and use persuasion just to try and get an idea of what's going on.
You don't necessarily need to roll. Just okay. So you're using your skills to aid Averine. So either you can aid or she aids you. So Averine, go ahead and roll investigation. Was it with advantage? Because Carmen is now helping.
Thank you, Carmen.
You're welcome.
25. All right. You will be able to start picking up on some information. The people here themselves are not the pirates. They know that there is a connection. There are some people that do know that there is a connection between Liara and the pirates. But it's clear the connection is only between Liara and the pirates. No one else here is actually been in contact with them. No one else has ever met them. It is only through her. In one such investigation, you hear someone overhearing or mentioning that she spends an awful lot of time fiddling with that funny-looking stone with a face on it shortly before mentioning anything about the pirates.
Would I have seen...
No, to be that is one half of a sending stone pair. Just know that. So you can make, after your investigation, you can make an educated guess that Liara Porter has one half of a sending stone pair that she uses to coordinate with the pirates, somehow or for some reason. But the rest of the fort don't. Okay. Anything else you guys would be doing? I think I saw a couple more hands go up.
Can I send a letter?
Yeah. What do you want the letter to say?
I would like to just say that say where I am, and say that I am heading on a ship to Mesro, but also got some other trying to do some right things and trying to help some people, and I'm a little bit worried because there's something going on down here which I'm not too sure about at the moment, but people are falling ill quickly and suddenly and painfully, so I hope everyone's well back home, and sending all my love, and I will write again soon.
Okay. Trying to think of how long does a letter take to get back there. You're just doing a natural letter, just gonna have someone send it in a mail drop off, or some sort of magical...
If there's a magical option to get it quicker, then...
you could pay for the services of effectively a sending sorts. It'll cost you 50 gold.
Okay.
Okay. Don't know if you have that.
Yeah.
So sending is 25 words.
Okay.
And you get one response.
Oh, okay.
What is the 25 words that you give?
Okay. Oh God. It's Carmen. Currently in where are we?
You can either say Fort Valorian,
Fort Valorian, yeah. Oh, currently in Chult. Traveling down to Mesro, helping some people who are ill. Sickness suddenly hitting. How is everyone back home? Love you.
Okay. Perfect. You say this to the mage that is going to send the sending spell off. Who specifically is it going to?
My father.
Okay. You give over your father's name, and he sends it a moment later. You get a response. The man just says, I'm so sorry. It would appear your father is also sick.
No.
So anything else? Do I know how bad he is?
He is fine. According to what they told me, he has friends in high places that can keep him strong for a while, but he is gravely sick also.
She's going to walk away from everyone and go and have a little cry. And she starts considering how she can help him ahead of anybody else now, even if that means, well, anything. And she's pulling her hair out. She's in a bit of a state. But she's trying to not let people around her know. She's trying to just deal with it out of the way for the time being.
If you're trying to hide it, roll a deception check.
Okay.
You're doing a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you guys would be doing? Sorry.
The tower like to take Zola, and if she would show him how to sell stuff. We have the heads of our ghouls that he really wants to clean his bag.
Yeah, we can go do that first, and then we can go do my thing.
And then after Zola, we'll do Grigory. Okay, so Tower and Zola go to trade the heads. The requisition order is for 20 gold per head.
Pull out my little piece of paper and it's like, see, I have it in writing.
We have 11 ghoul heads and 1 big ghoul head.
The clerk behind the desk. Well, it's that'll be 12 times 20, 240 gold pieces. And he'll just hand over 240.
This was easy.
Yep. Adds up when you got it all straightened out ahead of time and no haggling has to happen. No haggling happened. That's usually when you lose the money.
Oh, that is when we wink. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Zola, where are you going and what are you doing?
Tower, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I need to go talk to my brother.
Oh, I wish to get some body armor, but I do not know where to go.
Oh, well, I gotta go get my own stuff here in a second. Can I meet you back here?
Yes, if you must go. I will wait.
So I'll go find Shago.
You just look around.
Shago. You'll find Shago at the barracks, training. Really going to town on that dummy with a training sword. Really
I'd like to
hacking away at it. Go ahead.
I'd like to show up with 2 containers of alcohol.
Just
give him one.
Container.
A cup, single pitcher, what have you. Walk up to him.
So your meeting is done.
Yeah, and it went really, really well. In fact, it went so well. Is there anyone around us? Like too many people? Are we out of earshot?
We can go talk privately.
Let's do that.
Puts down the weapon and then leads you out. He then downs the drink in one go.
Mm-hmm. So, I see what you mean. about Liara. I think that she has merit. I think that over time things have caused her to make wrong decisions, but she's not a wrong person herself necessarily. And I'm thinking, maybe turning our angle to where it's more comfortable for you, and it might actually provide Mother with more opportunities. And that is, we have the opportunity to impress Liara a whole heckin' ton and to earn her trust in this next mission. We'll be working for her directly. And if we both at the same time prove ourselves as Xanthi's children, I think that we might actually be able to set up a meeting between her and Mom where Liara can let Mom in on the way that she does things on her own. And then we can create a bigger family.
That could work.
Right?
Yes.
Do you know what this next mission is? Do you know what she sent us out to do? Did she tell you?
No.
We're looking for a ring. And a guy in Mesero, or was in Mesero, has it. And she said he has medium-length brown hair.
That makes sense.
Why? What have you heard?
She has told me before of this ring, or I have heard of it. It is ancient lore. But one thing is common. A lot of people believe. This ring grants its bearer immortality. So it makes sense. She looks sick. It makes sense she is looking for the ring.
It's not just her.
No?
No,
Are
it's...
you sick too?
No. I'm not sick. But she said that some of her men, the men that came with her from the original trip over from Baldur's Gate, have actually started succumbing to their wounds as well. So, yeah, if we can get this ring for her, then obviously she'll owe us.
Of course.
And maybe we don't have to dodge around behind her back from the shadows. Maybe we can start working towards a prosperous future together.
See, all is well.
Exactly. I told you. I've got your back.
Now, can you tell that to the little one? To the redhead one?
Oh, I don't think I don't know. I don't know. Maybe with some time spent with her. Until then, this is between me and you, though.
Okay. Very well. I need another drink.
All right, I gotta go meet Tower back up. So, catch you later. And keep that chin up.
We catch up with Gregory.
Gregory is going to be crafting written contracts and having them signed up with the commander. He'll go off, he'll get it written, he'll come back, she'll sign it. I just want to double check on that persuasion roll. Was it agreed that if we get back within 2 months, we get a discount on the amount of money that's going to be pulled out for those items? Or is it just whatever those is going to be pulled from the 30?
You will get a discount. As of right now, I will be rolling the cost of each item that you request.
Sure, we can.
Then I will discount that and then take it off.
But presumably right now, those terms are agreed to and written up and signed. Yeah. And
all good.
That's what Gregory does. And then he thanks her kindly, doesn't take up too much of her time. If she's willing, he would have a short drink with her just to chat. But if she's too busy, he'll just head on his way.
She's a bit busy. All right. Then is there anything else that people would be doing that isn't shopping trip, prepare for the launch? Is there any activities in the city you would be doing?
I think Greco, just knowing that there are some people who have failed restorations and such going on, will probably try to seek them out and just do what Doom Guides do and provide comfort and, say some prayers with them if they're willing, just to, because I'm sure he's sure they'll know that things aren't going well, so that Greco can do his part and his duty to see them through to the end.
Greco, can I come with you?
Of course. The more the merrier. The god Kellenfor loves to spread his blessings.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna interfere, but I'll be observing them and listening to them as they do their ministering.
I'll be just trying to find out as much as I can through each of their stories and each of their tales, try and connect the dots.
You will begin talking and meeting with everyone, and similar to everything that you had learned previously, you are able to narrow it down to every single person currently afflicted by this severe curse has died and been resurrected.
All right. We have the knowledge. Cool.
But there are other people that are sick within the fort, and some of them are showing similar situations and symptoms to what Greco is currently feeling, in that diminished form, but not dying form.
Right. Would I have been able to ascertain that they suffered similar wounds as I did? That they were attacked by something that drained them, they were able to recover, but now those effects are returning.
So, is there anything else that Carmen and Greco would be doing? Okay. Then with that, as the party managed to collect 2 pieces of mechanical information about the death curse. The first is that it only affects the full force of it is anyone who has died and been resurrected is slowly dying again. And then the second part is any hit point maximum reduction, no matter the source, no matter whether or not you are affected by the full curse, is permanent. With that, we will end tonight's session. We will rejoin the adventure next week as our party of adventurers will have done their shopping trip and will head off on a ship towards Mesro. But they will be doing so at level 5.
Yay!
Yay!
Good night, everyone. Thank you all for sticking with us. Once again, we would like to thank everyone who has followed us recently and everyone that subscribed to our channel. All of your support really helps us to be able to keep having fun every week. If you liked what you saw, please join us again next week and invite a friend. And then during the week, if you like listening to the roleplay, don't forget that you can sit in and read in-character roleplay chat via Discord. To gain access to that and a lot more, visit our Patreon, patreon.com/Teevent. Follow us on Twitter at Crituitous RP and Tumblr, crituitousrp.tumblr.com. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Good night.